Hello there, and welcome back to another video, and today I will be speed building and reviewing the first model of LEGO set number 31010, Treehouse from LEGO Creator 3-in-1. Now this set has 356 pieces, and that comes with one minifigure, and it is right here. So today I'm going to build this and wrap it up into a very quick speed build. Here is the completed build. Build time today was about 50 minutes, and let's just jump straight into it. This is the minifigure, and as you can see it is a young boy. He has these light grey short non-bendable legs with a blue unprinted torso, which is a bit disappointing, but I think it was quite usual at the time of release. He's holding a radio or a walkie-talkie. Now if you look at his face, you can see that a part of his mouth is missing, but that's not meant to be like that. I bought this second hand and that's how he came. But you can see that under where the ink is missing, it would probably just be a continuation of his smiling teeth, and you can see that he is very happy. And then you get a red cap to put on his head. You also get this trolley for him to push around. Now if I get him, you can see it is about the right height for him to push, and the handle can actually be raised and lowered because it's just attached with a clip. Of course it's got rollable wheels, and inside it is actually a pizza, a round printed pizza piece. You can see that it's just smooth inside, so there's no studs to keep it in place, so it can move, but unless you like really throwing it around like that, it's not really going to fall out. You also get this really cute build for a dog. You can see it's on an arch piece for the legs, and then it's got a black ratchet joint piece for the tail, and then a blue tile for a collar, and then its face is actually a really nice shape, with the nose sticking out and it being lower than the eyes, and then there's just a single clip for the ears, and I really like this. And now on to the treehouse. Now the treehouse is actually supported by two trunks of a tree. There's this big thick one there and then a much thinner one here, but the main purpose of this one, because I don't really think it supports it much, I think the main purpose of it is for this here. Now you might just be thinking, well, that's just for some more decoration, but that's where you're mistaken, because you can actually lift this up to reveal a hidden compartment, and inside is this really nice printed treasure map. And you can see it does close about the same with it in and out, so it's very hard to tell whether it's actually there or not, which just goes along with the fact that it's well hidden. Here you can see there's some nice stepping stones for you to walk across, and that continues all the way around the back of the tree trunk up to here, which is nice because you wouldn't usually see round here. So it's nice that they went to the effort of putting some pieces around the back, although it's probably most likely because that was the only place they could get them, and they're actually used for the other two builds. Over here you can see a nice area of water, maybe a lake or a pond, and there's actually a frog sitting on it. That's just a regular frog piece. But I also really like the fact that there's a lot of greenery around it to maybe represent moss or algae or maybe even lily pads. And they've got it in multiple tones, like there's this dark green, this lighter green, and then this very light green there. Now at the moment it looks like there's one very big problem, and that is, how is he meant to get all the way up there when he's all the way down here? Because there's no ladder or anything until I pull this out right here, and then one drops down and you just have to unfold it, and it creates a nice ladder up to the top. Now I'm not really sure why they did it, although it's probably once again just because they needed the pieces for the alternate builds, but they have actually made the top of the tree quite modular, because you can pick the house up. You can also pick this bit of tree up, and you can kind of pick this up, but that's just going to make it a bit easier for me to review. So here is the balcony section, and it's quite simple, but it does have some nice features. So first of all, there's this nice golden telescope on a stand, which is just about the right height for the minifigure, so that's all good. And it can be turned, and of course you can take the telescope off the stand. If I can just get it off the stand. Yes, you can take it off the stand and put it into the minifigure's hand, and then he can use it as a handheld telescope. Now there is also this red box on the side, and that's actually on a Technic pin, and it's filled with transparent blue studs, and they are there to represent water. So if I just reattach that, so the idea is, because there's a winch on the side as well with a hook that you can unravel and hook it onto the bucket and winch it up. The idea is the bucket collects the water, comes up, and then you could tip the water into here and then tip that on the heads of people passing by. Of course it would be a lot more better looking if I showed you it with the actual platform on the tree trunk. So it just attaches there, and then we can reenact the scene. So the bucket is down here in the water, collecting up the water, and then you winch down to pick it up, tip it into here, and then tip it onto the heads of unsuspecting passers-by. Next we have this part of the tree trunk which is removable for some reason. Now if I get the minifigure, you can actually tell this is quite big in minifigure scale, and it looks like it'd be quite good for climbing up, so maybe it's up here as some entertainment. But as for the actual build, there's a lot of nice slopes, and you can see some leaves sticking off at different points, and then some more of these light green studs to represent different coloured leaves. But there's not really that much to it. And that just goes on the back section, as you can see. And now we can finally get onto the actual house part of the treehouse. Now, as you can see, it's quite small and basic, and it's going to be quite hard for me to show you. But once again, LEGO has made it easier for me to show you by making yet another thing removable. And it is, of course, the roof. So there's not much in here. It's a really very basic interior with just some sort of trough here, which I guess could be there to represent some sort of sink, and also just a very simple bed, which is roughly the right size for him, although his feet do stick off, but that's because the cheese slope is pushing him down, because there's nothing to keep him in place. But yeah, a very basic interior, but there are quite a few windows. There's this one here, this large one here, which is actually openable, so you can open that window, and then these two here. So yeah, that's just a basic little house. And there's not much going on in the roof either. There is, of course, a roof, but that only goes halfway round, and there should actually be a flag on here. But yeah, the roof only really goes halfway round, because here there's almost an attic with a large open space, and some of these pieces, which I guess could be there to represent like a banister, and yeah, not really much going on here. And so the house just goes here, and then of course the roof goes on top, just like that. Now, it is a bit of a shame that there's this grey and dark tan line going across there, but I mean, I don't think they didn't really have as big a range of pieces in as big a range of colours, so I don't really mind it. It's still a bit of a shame, but it's okay. All in all, I think this is a great set. Now, especially considering it came out quite a few years ago, because with the amount of like play features and hidden features there are, it's really fun to just play around with it and explore it, with this winch as well, and the bucket. And I also really like this cute dog build. The minifigure's nothing special, just a plain torso, plain legs, pretty basic accessory. The house build is also quite basic, but to be honest, I don't really think that's the main thing you should be looking at with this set, because there's just so many other stuff with this, even down to the details of this stoned path. It's quite simple, but it still looks really nice and cool. And I like how it's not just that typical tree house where it's just a big trunk in the middle and then there's no tree after it, because they've got two trunks and then there's some more branches coming up over the top. So it's really great that they thought of little details like that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.